Hey there! Bob from Oregon's Constant Gardener. Welcome to the OCGFAM show. To you, my YouTube buddies, what's going on? Let me know in the comments down there. We'll talk about it at the show right now. Let's just get into the show. Recycling soil. We've talked about this a lot. But a lot of times I think it was within the context of an outdoor grow or a bigger grow. When you're in small pots, indoors, what are the issues with recycling soil? Scott and I talked about that at length in the previous viewer questions episode, and I thought it was interesting, and I think you'll find it valuable too, especially if you're working in a small indoor grow. So please watch the clip, and I'll talk to you after.
iHawker is what he told me that the IHK is in the comments. Potting limitations in an apartment are inevitably restrictive on container size. I don't want to go out and buy a new bag of soil every time, so I was hoping that I could use and reuse some stuff, Fox Farm, Ocean Forest, in my containers. I guess that's not advisable. He's talking about, I think this was about the biochar and the bokashi. So if you were in small pots and recycling your soil and we're not using the biochar or the bokashi to bring that soil back, what would you be using? Just some one shot, or what would you do if you're in a small grow but you don't want to have to get a new bag of soil every time?
Well, I definitely wouldn't use it right away. I'd take all the soil from one run, put it in a tote, and then add in an enzyme, add in a worm casting, some kind of life form, and Photoplus or a compost tea, just to let them break down the old root mass. Anything that was a problem the last cycle would then become consumed through your composting. But going back and forth and composting between cycles would be your best bet. If you go from fresh to fresh, you're going to just run into all sorts of deficiency issues because you're going to be depleting that soil so rapidly.
Even if you threw some one shot in there, you're still going to have other issues. It's not going to.
I would still put all of one round in a tote. Give it some kind of organic meal, one shot, down to earth blends, whatever. Just give that something to live on, but give it a compost tea and an enzyme so everything gets broken down and be just made more available for the next run.
Is SLF going to be adequate in that situation, or are you going to have to go the Hygrozyme to really?
Hygrozyme will do the roots more efficiently, but after you're done with that, you're definitely going to want to put in SLF because that one's going to live. One's a life and the other one's an enzyme that just destroys. So Hygrozyme destroys everything, but SLF will rebuild that life back into the soil.
But you'd be looking at some worm castings or some things like
that.
Yeah. Would you be looking at some cocoa or peat to go back in there as well?
I would look to see what the structure looks like, and if the structure seems too airy or too dense or whatever you like as a grower, and then just amend it accordingly. Either a little fresh peat, a little bit of fresh cocoa, more perlite and pumice, just kind of rebuild your soil in between rounds.
But you wouldn't be hitting this with biochar or bokashi, or bokashi being the main thing that people might put in.
You certainly can if you're going to recycle it. Then feel that it would be a good thing to do. But if you don't have access to it, you don't want to put the price tag into it. Just a good compost tea. And
so in the previous answer, we weren't crapping on Well, this is about bokashi more so than biochar, right? Or are they similar in nature?
Well, no. I mean, biochar is more of a house, and bokashi is a food source with a house. So I mean, it just really comes down to tilth and how the soil is going to act in the next run. And, and there's guys who swear by it, and there's guys that say, I've done it all, and it didn't make any difference the way I feed. So
nothing wrong with just not your style?
To me, it's just extra things I got to buy that I grow organically outdoors, so my stuff's already so alive, I don't really worry about the life anymore. But for the small indoor gardens, the other problem too is do you need a 12-pound bag of bokashi that's going to last you 14 years of recycling?
And that's gonna
when you don't want to buy 2 bags of soil. So I'd rather just buy 2 bags of soil and then just keep those replenished. And I'd rather put it in nutrition that the plants are going to access through one shot or
Okay, what do you think? Informative, entertaining, helpful, agree, disagree? Further thoughts, further questions? Throw them in the comments and we'll talk about them. I love you. And I'll see you tomorrow. The OCG Fam Show. It's pretty good. It happens every day. It's the OCG Fam Show. See you tomorrow.